Alright guys, welcome back to the Masters Division. 6 carts on offer tonight. A couple guys missing. John DeVille, unfortunately, family responsibility. I believe... Stephen Koenig without a steering wheel. He had a technical failure there, unfortunately. And then who else do we have missing? David Burberry, I believe, who is also missing. So... 9 Masters in total, 3 of them missing tonight, but we've got a new driver joining us on the track, and that's Ashley Bannister, part of the Father and Sons racing team up in Gauteng. So welcome to Ashley, and I honestly hope he enjoys this Masters division. It is super fun. Mark Pollard was leading the way for the qualifying session. Let's just have a quick look at where the standings are at the moment for the championship. So Masters Division is led by Mark Pollard with 50 points. Then Johan Labuschagne on 40. Carl van Rooyen 38. Blake Creer 36. Richard Clark on 22. And Stephen Koenig unfortunately only on 14 because he only had one race. So yeah guys, welcome in. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being with us once more. We are excited to have another mega race. Mark Pollard will be first out on track to post his first lap, I believe. Pollard is part of Against the Odds Racing. Kyle van Rooyen is part of... well, I believe he's joining the Against the Odds Racing as well. For the Pro League, at least as a reserve driver. Then we've got Blake Creer, part of Transbidder Racing. Father and Sons in the form of Ashley Bannister. Richard Clark, AV Concepts. And then Johan Labuschagne, BBS Racing. From the guys racing tonight. There we go. Mark Pollard, 43.833. That's a pretty decent first lap. Then Carl van Rooyen, who's done so many laps and unfortunately was quite upset when we changed a little bit of the setup to give the guys a little bit more of a real feel and a little bit more stability to make sure that the guys do not become moving chicanes. And yeah, it seems to be paying off. The carts seem a lot more stable and the boys are managing to put on some good consistent laps, as you saw within the seniors race before. 5 carts having a go at it for the first 7 laps before a mistake happened or a technical issue happened on Tate Bishop's side. So hopefully we see the same with the Masters Division. Close racing between Pollard and van Rooyen. Labuschagne 6/10 off the pace unfortunately, and Richard Clark 7/10 off. Richard Clark got across the line now. Oh, he lifted on the final corner there. That's definitely going to compromise his exit. He did improve on his lap though, 3/10, makes you think there's definitely more pace in there. He went way too slow into that final corner. Mark Pollard going through there very quick and clean. That's going to be a good lap. Yes, 2/10 was the gain. Pollard lifting or raising that bar once more. Now Ashley Bannister hasn't put in a good lap as of yet, so let's see what he's going to do. Throwing it into the last corner, he missed the apex completely there, unfortunately. 1.7 seconds off the pace. Oh, Labuschagne getting it all kinds of wild. Rejoining the track, and big love tap there. Carl van Rooyen will be screaming in that virtual helmet. Unfortunately, nothing Johan Labuschagne would be able to do there, because he ran wide and lost all the momentum there up the hill. Richard Clark getting it a little bit sideways. Clark not finding his rhythm as of yet. Mark Pollard's really gotten even quicker that time around, I believe. Half a second is the gap. Will Pollard be able to break away, or will anybody be able to mount a threat or be a threat for Pollard tonight? So essentially, everybody apart from Johan Labuschagne, who has had 1 or 2 races in the past, and Mark Pollard are debutants or rookie drivers, rookie seasons for most of the guys at least. So, although they are well known in the karting world, and most of them is part of a club and has done a lot of karting, but Van Rooyen, Clark, Creer and Bannister all rookies in the OKL setup. Creer not finding a good lap as of yet. Mark Pollard did raise that benchmark once more. 43.423. Let's have a look. Bannister crossing the line, not improving. Clark not improving either. Johan Labuschagne does improve, but not on pace as of yet. Pollard crossing the line and just once more getting a little bit more out of that cart than anybody else around him. Creer crossing the line now. Half a second gain. Van Rooyen will be the next one to cross over the bridge. Well, that's a good exit, I think. Seems like it. Doesn't improve though. Bannister now coming at, running wide. Guys are losing a lot of time in that final corner. Labuschagne does move himself into third place now. Mark Pollard once more. Is he going to move that? It does improve every lap. These slight little improvements just pushing away at the potential fight from the guys behind him. Clear 8/10 of the pace. Comes Van Rooyen once more. And into the final corner, Van Rooyen goes. Runs wide there. That's time lost, 100%. Does improve by the smallest of margins. 1.5 seconds is the gap. For Bannister, will he improve? He does improve by a 10th. Labuschagne improves once more. By a small margin, but he's now, Mark Pollard once again. This is starting to become a problem for the competitors around him. Mark Pollard is now moving into the pace of the seniors division. Van Rooyen doesn't have an answer. 6/10 off the pace. Pollard seems to be getting into his groove and building some good laps, putting together some proper laps. Richard Clark is all over the back of Ashley Bannister. Clark is not going to be happy. Bannister's going to maybe improve this time around. He doesn't, neither does Clark. Labuschagne doesn't. Labuschagne does. Well, he's still in third place rather. If the guys want to have a good lap, they need to either just let Bannister move away or just get past him. Right, Labuschagne and Van Rooyen now trying to work together to get a better lap. Mark Pollard parking that car thinking, you know what, no one's beating that. And he's parking it full of confidence. Maybe taking a quick comfort break before the race. Labuschagne getting it all kinds of wrong on the exit there and not improving on his lap. And he still tucks. It's like, I'm going to maximize my lap here. Van Rooyen running wide, just touching the tires on the exit of turn 1. Richard Clark not improving on his lap. Blake Creer getting it all kinds of wrong as well, unfortunately. Well, Van Rooyen now going to cross over the bridge section. A lot of the guys seems like they're parking their carts, waiting for qualifying to finish up. Van Rooyen is going to try and improve and move closer to Mark Pollard. Does he? No, he does not. Bannister still trying to find something. Richard Clark moves up into second place now. 2 milliseconds is the gap. Well, second, third, and fourth. Split by, what is that, 9 milliseconds. That's as close as it gets. Or 9 1/1000ths of a second. Let's see what Van Rooyen does. Can he improve this time around? There's double commentating. That can't be. you guys sure you're hearing? Don't you have 2 live streams open, Bertie? Because I only have 1 open, so it seems a bit odd. Let me just double check that for you. Yeah, sorry, I just checked on my side. There is not open on my side. Mark, can you confirm? Is it coming through twice? Seems odd. Alright, I missed a bit of the qualifying there, unfortunately. I thought there was a technical problem on my side. Carl van Rooyen is in second place. Nobody was able to beat Mark Pollard. Van Rooyen is the last one on track, still able to do 1 more lap. Will van Rooyen improve on his final lap? Will he take it away from Mark? Is it possible? Oh, it's a good exit there. It does improve, but 2.5 tenths is the gap, so there's a big margin. Mark Pollard really putting in a really good couple laps in succession. Bit by bit he improved. He was chipping away in that lead, and then just boom, 1 good lap and parked it. So thank you for coming. I am done. So Mark Pollard takes pole position, followed by Carl van Rooyen. So those are both against the odds esports or against the odds racing drivers. Richard Clark in 3rd, Johan Labuschagne in 4th, Blake Creer in 5th, and then on his very first race, Ashley Bannister for Father & Sons Racing. Right, all carts on grid. Start sequence now. We are waiting for the lights to go out. This is the pre-final 10 laps. Lights out and away we go. Good start there by Carl van Rooyen on the outside. Mark Pollard will have the inside, so that should secure his first position. But then Richard Clark got in, move himself up into 2nd or 3rd place already. Defending there against Johan Labuschagne. Mark Pollard on the defensive line immediately. Carl van Rooyen trying to pose a proper threat there, but not happening as it stands. Mark Pollard getting away cleanly. Everybody seems like they got away pretty okay. Johan Labuschagne in 4th place. Richard Clark seems like he's got some good momentum. Will he be able to catch onto the back of Carl van Rooyen? Van Rooyen not keeping up with Mark Pollard at the moment. Mark Pollard breaking away like we saw in qualifying. Into his groove he goes. Now he just needs to keep it clean. But Richard Clark is all over the back of Carl van Rooyen. Will Carl van Rooyen be able to deal with the pressure coming from behind? Making a little bit of a mistake there is Clark. Clark now getting pressure from behind by in the form of Johan Labuschagne. Most of these guys are coastal drivers, it seems. I believe all of them are coastal, apart from Ashley. I think everybody else is on the coast. Mark Pollard, Cape Town, or Cape Townian, Western Cape. Carl van Rooyen from KZN, I believe. Richard Clark, East London. Johan Labuschagne, PE. Ashley will be from Gauteng, and I think Blake might also be from East London. So, coastal league apparently for the Masters division. The gap seems to be quite big between 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th. Somebody needs to make a mistake. Not like we would wish that on them, but we're going to have to see something. Some action's going to happen. Look at this now. Blake Creer trying to move away from the wooden spoon position and move himself up a position. Bannister defending properly there, trying to keep his cart on the track. Down inside comes Blake Creer, who should be much quicker than Bannister. Bannister holding it on the outside, but not keeping the momentum. As I say that, Carl van Rooyen made a mistake. No, he didn't. It is... Carl van Rooyen's got a time penalty, it seems. Does he? No, he doesn't. But down the inside goes Jan Labuschagne on Richard Clark. Ooh, they touch side parts there. Rubbing is racing. Another little rub between the tires this time around. Clark defending that. Holding on to the position. A lot of momentum from Jan Labuschagne through the second corner. But Labuschagne still got off second best in that exchange. And Richard Clark defending his position successfully for the pre-final podium. Labuschagne is going to try and do something different this time around. Maybe tucking, trying to maximize his lap time down the straight. You're not going to gain a lot of time, but every little bit helps in karting. Talk about gaps. It seems like Bannister is holding on to the back of Blake Creer. So Bannister is starting to get into his groove and gaining some more speed. There's 2 karts on track. Between the 6 guys, there's everywhere 2 guys having a battle, so that's pretty cool. Clark still defending Labuschagne. Apologies about that. Bertie, it seems like my mic got muted while reading a message off air. Pollard getting the first pre-final victory. Carl van Rooyen in second. Then Johan Labuschagne in third. He'd be happy with that. Richard Clark rather in fourth. Blake Creer will finish the line in fifth. And then Ashley Bannister will cross the line in his first race in sixth place. Well done. And we'll go straight into the final. I believe Johan said that he's got load shedding at 10, so we're going to have to make sure we don't fool around and go straight into the pre-final. Or the final, rather. Really a beautiful livery there by Ashley Bannister, Father and Sons Racing. Man sporting his real kart livery in the simulator. Well, the team he's driving for at least. I think Bannister's got a Cosmic. All the same. Alright, Richard Clark just parked it. He's like, I'm not taking this thing back to the pits. My mechanics can come fetch me. Right, and into the final we go. 15 laps. Might be a little bit too much, but let's see. Will the guys be able to keep it clean? Will there be a good fight? It did seem like Carl van Rooyen at the end of that race started picking up his pace and he started catching Mark Pollard. Hopefully Pollard and van Rooyen, even Labuschagne. I think he honestly even Creer and Clark's got it in them to have a fight up front. Bannister might still be a little bit of a tall order, but you know, maybe the laps he's done got his nerves settled and now he might be keen and start fighting. Because it did seem like Bannister during that race were keeping up with Blake Creer. Alright, start sequence, here we go. Lights out and away we go. Mark Pollard getting a good start on the inside there. Van Rooyen immediately tucking into the, or moving into the inside line. Clipping the curb there is Blake Creer there. Unfortunately, Richard Clark moving up into third place. Immediately with Johan Labuschagne falling down into fourth. Oh, I heard another kart spin. That's Ashley Bannister spinning off. Mark Pollard getting, once again, a very good clean start from the get-go. And that's now all the work needs to be done by Creer. Van Rooyen, Labuschagne and Clark rather. So very important that the guys pick up their pace and don't lose sight of Mark Pollard as of yet. Otherwise it's going to be a very long race. Van Rooyen also new to the karting scene in real life, I believe. And the simulator was initially picked up as just a training tool for him to see how the other tracks are going, and he's been loving it and it's really been addicted. He's done a lot of laps in this last week on Swartkops. Is Van Rooyen, which makes me think, doesn't he have work to do during the day? But yeah, good to see Van Rooyen in the sim, as well as Clark and Labuschagne having a go at it already. Labuschagne is getting close. Mark Pollard's not breaking away too much either, so hopefully Van Rooyen gets into the groove. 8 tenths is the gap. See if we can do an onboard with Johan Labuschagne. Quite like this one. Let's do the one on the Nassau, the BIP. could just hear Labuschagne working that throttle, slamming the brakes a little bit, not locking the wheels too much, going through the bridge section. Let's follow Van Rooyen with the onboard shot. Van Rooyen starting to see if he can reel in Mark Pollard. 6/10 is the gap now. Oh, 7/10. So he lost a 10th on that lap after gaining quite a lot in the previous lap. We'll see Van Rooyen's angle through this next corner, at the pit corner. Doesn't use the brakes, just lifts, throw the kart in and let the grip do the rest. Really cool to see that onboard shot there by Kyle Van Rooyen, who seems like he's reeling in Mark Pollard at the moment. And at the same time, Labuschagne and Clark is also starting to pull towards each other. Pollard trying to break the toe, losing 2/10 this time around. So this is starting to become interesting. Van Rooyen starting to get into the groove. I'm going to try and see if he can hunt down Mark Pollard. Half a second is the gap, although it does seem a little bit closer this time around as well. I hear both Clark and Labuschagne in my ears. Their tires making a lot of noise, having a moment on the track. Let's keep an eye on this gap. Seems like it built up a little bit now, probably about 6/10. They have different lines to this final corner though. More or less the same. So Van Rooyen's still there, keeping touch. But he needs to get into that toe. He needs to benefit from the toe. And Mark Pollard needs to do everything he can to break away from that toe. And make sure he doesn't just pull Van Rooyen along and get him to get closer. Seems like Clark had a moment and there's been a swap around between Labuschagne and Clark once more. And more or less the same time as the previous race. Do an onboard here with Mark Pollard. Just a rear view shot just to see how he's being chased down by teammate Kyle Van Rooyen. Van Rooyen seems like he's losing touch just a little bit. Oh, Mark Pollard clipping the curb on the inside. You just see them working there, and Mark Pollard trying to break the toe, and Van Rooyen trying to stay inside of that toe all the way through. Ooh, Van Rooyen climbing the curbs. .133 of Mark Pollard leading the way, lap 9 of 15. Stucking there. Mark Pollard over the bridge section and into the normal camera we go again. Let's just check the gap as it stands. A little bit further away goes Mark Pollard now. Van Rooyen staying there but not close enough to benefit from a good toe. And Labuschagne somehow getting the better of Richard Clark. And then Ashley Bannister on debut race. Just the lonely 6th place. Ooh, getting it all kinds of wrong there on the exit. We'll go back to Mark Pollard. Going into the final corner. Once more. Tucking. 1 second the gap down. Now Kyle Van Rooyen is All the pressure has been put back on Van Rooyen now because Mark Pollard's pulling away bit by bit. That was 3/10 in that lap. So Pollard really getting into his groove at the latter part of the race. Whereas Carl Van Rooyen seems like he had a better earlier part of the race, first to mid part, or phase of the race rather. But in this third and final phase of the race, Mark Pollard seems like he's getting into his own now. And he's starting to get his groove and he's starting to pull away. That seems like the gap has gone even a little bit bigger this time. Oh, still same. So Van Rooyen now matching that lap time. He's got 3 laps to go if he wants to do anything against Mark Pollard. Going on board with Carl Van Rooyen once again. See if Van Rooyen will be able to close the gap. 1 second. 1024. That's the size of 1 gig. Sorry, that's a little bit of computer geek coming through there. 1 second is the gap. What does it look like crossing the line now? 8/10. So a small gain by Van Rooyen this time around. Missing the apex just a little bit there, running wide. That's not ideal. Seems like Van Rooyen's a little bit all over the show there on the apex, missing it, just running a little bit wide. That gap's gotten bigger, definitely gotten bigger. Van Rooyen once more missing the apex, 3-4 corners in a row now. Much better through here. And then the double right, much better through there, getting a lot of momentum. But Pollard seems like he's got that covered. Pollard is definitely got one up on Van Rooyen at the moment. Alright, so 9/10 is the gap now. So again, advantage Pollard once more. Let's have a look here. Big gap between first, second, well in third place between second and third at 7 seconds. Then Clark in 4th with Blake Creer just crossing the line in 5th now. And then Ashley Bannister coming home in 6th place. But the battle between Pollard and Van Rooyen still happening. Pollard once more, it seems like he's built a small gain in this lap. 9/10 is the gap. What does it look like this time around? Final lap starting, 1.2 seconds. You can't help but feel that Mark Pollard has done enough. But he's got one more lap to bring this one home as clean and consistent as he can. He can throw away some lap time and not put himself under too much pressure. Pollard would have learned from his past mistakes. You can see hugging the corners tightly, staying off the curbs. Because you don't want to be climbing the curbs on this version of Swartkops. Pollard coming through the section, the bridge section for the final time into the last corner. He goes, keeping it off the curbs, running wide there, making sure he stays secure. That is a victory for Pollard. Second place for Van Rooyen. Johan Labuschagne will cross the line in 3rd place and the final podium spot. Richard Clark will finish his race in 4th place after having such a good start to the race. And then Blake Creer will come home in 5th place. And then Ashley Bannister, not too far off from Creer, will come home and finish the race in 6th place in his first race. So congratulations to Mark Pollard, Carl Van Rooyen and Johan Labuschagne for their podium spots. I think it was overall good racing between the guys. Proper battling, or at least managing of the gaps between Van Rooyen and Pollard. It didn't seem like Van Rooyen just had that little bit of extra pace to compete. Just to make sure we have that replay saved. But yeah, I think overall good stuff from the guys. The juniors division had a lot of bumping. Unfortunately, tonight the masters had some really good, the seniors had some really good racing, and masters, some gaps between the drivers, maybe just some seat time. Maybe the small setup changes caught some of the guys off guard. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. That was a good race, good night overall. let's have a quick look. Just double check. Next week we are back with the Pro League. That will be round 2, 27th of February at Idubi, Lucas Sturman's favorite track. I'm fairly certain he's already crying internally, but it's going to be fun to see the pros come back and bring a really good open setup to the race. So we'll see you guys next week on Tuesday for the Pro League, and then the European Championship will also take place next week, I believe, on Wednesday. And that will be at a South African track on Kalani, so the Europeans will travel across the virtual plane and move into the African region for a race. So yeah, guys, congratulations to all the podium finishers tonight. A lot of reviews in the juniors division, but we're going to have a lot of fun with that. And we'll see you guys next week for the Pro League and the European Championship.